Jonathan Paul Copenhaver. Jonathan Paul Copenhaver is an ex-MMA fighter who legally changed his name to War Machine. He was sentenced to 36 years to life for a brutal assault in 2014 against his ex-girlfriend, adult entertainer Christy Mack, and her male friend Corey Thomas. The former fighter avoided conviction of attempted murder, but was found guilty of 29 out of 34 charges for kidnapping, battery and sexual assault in the attack that left Christy Mack with a punctured lung and several broken bones. At his sentencing on June 6, 2017, Copenhaver expressed extreme remorse for his crimes and claimed to have found God while he was in prison. He also said, "Not a day goes by that I don't seriously regret all those things that I did. I was a very, very lost, very empty person," before finally adding, "Something's not right with my head." Although, at the sentencing, Mack didn't buy it, claiming, "I do know when he gets out, he will kill me." Copenhaver will be eligible for parole when he is 71 years old. Joseph's son. Joseph's son is most known for his role in Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery as the character Random Task, which is a parody of the henchman Oddjob from the James Bond film Goldfinger. However, in real life, Son's evil acts were no laughing matter. In 2012, he was convicted of participating in the gang rape and torture of a woman that he and an accomplice had kidnapped and assaulted on Christmas Eve 1990. DNA evidence from an unrelated case in 2008 linked Son to the heinous crime for which he was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole. And if that wasn't enough, 1 month after starting his sentence, Son, who is also a former MMA fighter, beat his cellmate to death with a combination of kicks and punches. After this happened, prosecutors sought an additional life sentence for the charge of assault by a live prisoner with force causing death, but the jury instead found him guilty on the lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter. Upon handing down the additional sentence of 27 years, the judge told Son, "This crime is as monstrous and despicable as anything this court has ever seen." Michael Jace. Michael Jace, who is best known for his work on The Shield, was sentenced to 40 years behind bars for shooting dead his wife April. Michael shot his wife in front of their 2 young sons because he was furious that she wanted a divorce and believed that she was seeing somebody else. After shooting her once in the back and twice in the legs, Michael reportedly called the police and then called April's father to come and collect the boys. This allegedly wasn't Michael Jace's first domestic violence incident. A friend of his first wife told the court that she had witnessed him abusing Jennifer Bitterman during their marriage, and Bitterman claimed in court documents that their son was afraid of his dad. Phil Spector. Music producer Phil Spector will more than likely spend the rest of his life behind bars for the death of the actress Lana Clarkson. In 2003, Clarkson was discovered dead, sitting in a chair in Spector's home. She had been shot in the mouth. Spector's first trial ended in a mistrial with a hung jury, but the second time, jurors reportedly deliberated for just 30 hours. Spector was sentenced to 19 years to life behind bars on second-degree murder charges and ordered to pay the victim's funeral costs. Allegedly, his attorney forked over $17,000 on a single check. But Spector's legal battles didn't end there. In May 2018, he won a fight from behind bars to reduce his ex-wife's spousal support checks from $37,500 a month in temporary spousal support and $14,419 per month to cover marital resident expenses down to $33,000 and $5,885 a month. It's nice to see that he's focused on the important things in prison and not reforming himself. Sam Hurd. Former pro football star Sam Hurd could have been one of the league's most prized and respected players, but instead of that, he is serving 15 years in prison for his role in a drug distribution hustle. Hurd was rounded up during a sting at a Chicago steakhouse. He reportedly chatted up an undercover cop and then attempted to buy 5 to 10 kilograms of cocaine and £1,000 of marijuana to sell on the street. In 2015, Heard filed a motion to have his sentence reduced from 15 years to only 9. He stated that he was rehabilitated, had completed typing and business classes whilst behind bars, and even learned how to attend to basic sports injuries. His request was, however, denied. Oscar Pistorius. South Africa's Oscar Pistorius became one of the world's most renowned athletes when he sprinted in the 2012 Summer Olympics in London as a double amputee. Yet he made headlines the following year for something completely different. In the early hours of February the 14th, 2013, he fired 4 shots into a closed bathroom door, killing his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. Pistorius said he thought an intruder was in his home, but the prosecution claimed he killed Reeva Steenkamp after they had an argument. Pistorius was sentenced to 5 years in prison in 2014 on the charge of manslaughter. He served 1 year and then was put on house arrest, but his conviction was overturned and upgraded to murder by a higher court in 2015. And in 2017, his sentence was increased to 13 years and 5 months by the Supreme Court of Appeal. Shelly Malil. Best known for his work on the 40-year-old virgin, Shelly Malil was sentenced to life in prison for the attempted murder of his girlfriend in 2008. Malil was reportedly convicted on premeditated murder and assault charges after going berserk when he discovered his then-girlfriend Kendra Bebe having wine with another man and stabbing the woman some 20 times in the back, chest and neck. In January 2018, Malil was deemed suitable for parole. It was parole hearing to fight against the decision, telling the court that she has had permanent injuries and that the emotional pain is always going to be there. Ricardo Medina. Power Rangers Samurai star Ricardo Medina pleaded guilty in 2017 to fatally stabbing his roommate Josh Sutter with a samurai sword in 2015. The two men had reportedly got into a fight over Medina's girlfriend. Medina took a plea that resulted in a 6-year sentence instead of a potential life behind bars. The victim's father testified saying, "Put this killer in general prison population so he will see and feel the same fear that Josh felt." In a disturbing 911 call that Ricardo Medina made, he could be heard saying, "Damn it, Josh, why did you do this, man? Why did you make me do this?" I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can hear this call for yourself if you'd like. Suge Knight. Former music mogul Suge Knight was charged with murder and attempted murder in February 2015, following a fatal hit and run on the set of the hit film Straight Outta Compton. Knight is accused of running over 2 men with his truck, Terry Carter, who unfortunately died, and Clay Bone Sloan, who luckily survived. Because of his criminal history and the seriousness of these charges, Knight's bail was revoked. The hugely anticipated trial, in which Suge could be imprisoned for the remainder of his life, is scheduled to begin in September 2018, which has been delayed due to Suge's health and changes in legal counsel. This is not Knight's first time in trouble, however. He was shot 6 times at a nightclub in 2004. He landed himself in hospital in 2009 after a fight in an Arizona hotel, and was arrested in 2013 for driving on a suspended license. Jared Fogle. Former Subway spokesperson Jared Fogle was sentenced to 15 years and 8 months in prison for child pornography charges, as well as charges that he had crossed state lines to pay for sex with minors. Fogle was ordered to pay $1.4 million in restitution to 14 victims and $175,000 in fines. In March 2017, he was beaten by a fellow inmate, Steve Nick, who wrote a letter obtained by tabloids explaining that he had beaten Fogle up because the ex-spokesman was being treated like a hero amongst other molesters, and he used bodyguards to protect himself. Other child molesters looked at him as if he were a god. Nick wrote, "Despite being punished for the attacks, I have no regrets." In March 2018, Fogel made news again when he and two fellow inmates filed a lawsuit against federal authorities and his former attorneys for constitutional violations, government overreach, and convictions not based within law. Fogel alleges he was duped into a guilty plea by bogus conspiracy charges, and the restitution money to victims was the result of coercion by attorneys. What do you guys think? Is this a case of somebody being bullied into accepting a charge, or do you really think that he's guilty? Let me know in the comments down below.